often when people become skillful in a particular skill set and they think that they have become competent in that and nobody else around them is as competent as they are into that particular skill set, they stop being compliant to the people who expose them to that particular skill set. And that's the perfect ditch one can land themselves into. Let's take an example. There are three people, A, B and C. A is someone who is at the position of power, who can align you to the right opportunities, provide you the right skill sets, right mindset, and controls how much you will be able to explore in order to go ahead in your life. And then there comes B, which is you, who already thinks that you have become competent enough. And let me tell you the reason why do you think you have become competent enough. Because the people at level B, you're the best amongst those people that you know in your vicinity or that you know in your immediate circle. And the people in C who look up to you as a leader thinks that you are the best person out there in this particular skill set. And that is building an ego into you. So you are becoming too much competent for the people in B and as well as in C. But for the people in A, you stop being compliant. And that's the ditch I'm talking about. You do not have to get into that ditch. Why? Because you have become the best into that particular skill set or that particular thing in life just because the people in A allowed, or not even allowed, but exposed or pushed you to those particular opportunities or those particular exposures which is going to make you more skillful and more competent into that particular skill. And for a couple of years you've done that, and now you think you've become competent in front of the eyes of people in C and people in B. But that doesn't mean you're going to show that same competence and the attitude of that competence to the people in A. Because those people can now stop the opportunities or the exposures to you, or they can limit the exposure that you're going to get in order to learn new skill sets or to be better at those particular skill sets which you already think you're competent enough in. Why? Because you have stopped being compliant to them, because you think now you have become competent enough that you can teach them as well. Might be true, I'm not saying that's not the right thing. They might not know about that particular skill, but as long as they are the ones who are in power and they can control your exposures and everything, you never have to show the competence to the people in A. You can show that to the people in B or the people in C, but never to the people in A. And what do you need to do? If you do not have to show your ego or your attitude of your competence to people in A, what do you have to do? You have to be compliant to them. And what I mean by compliant to them is not something that you have to follow whatever orders that are coming from them. No, that's not exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. But you have to have open conversations, transparent communication with them, and be willing to listen to them instead of just cancelling them out that, okay, I know what I'm doing. These people don't know anything. And in life also, this is the perfect ditch that everyone falls into. We all think that we know everything, right? Even I myself. But the thing is, someone might be above in the hierarchy of skills, wisdom, or whatever that I'm seeking in my particular life. So I have to be open. But that ego that gets built up with the competence that I build into a particular skill set shuts the door of being open and be willing to listen to the people in A, right? And that's exactly when we land ourselves into a position where no matter how well we are doing into our current particular position, we are not learning anything new which is going to take us ahead, which is exactly what we used to do 2 years back or 3 years back or 5 years back, which got us to where we are today. But now we think we are the smartest out there and we are not listening to the higher wisdom. Or we are not being compliant to the people in A. And by the way, this is not a thing that I'm trying to explain to the people who are working in the corporates. Most of the times it happens with business people as well, that they think that they're the best into their industry, they're the best in this particular business, and they do not have to be compliant to the government, right? And that's the perfect ditch. One has to be compliant to the government in order to run their business. No matter how well they do the business, no matter how well the customers are satisfied, or how competent you are into that particular industry or how competent you are into that particular skill set, you've got to be compliant to the government, because the government controls the access for your newer opportunities. The government can limit the exposure that you can get for the new skill sets that you can hone and for the growth of the business that you are trying to, for the growth of the business that you are trying to grow, right? And that same can be applied to the career, and that same can be applied in the family, that same can be applied literally everywhere. So the golden rule is, be competent within yourself, undoubtedly, but do not build an ego of your competence in front of the people who are higher in you. And when I say higher in you, I just do not mean that who are higher in positions, but higher in knowledge, higher in wisdom, higher in positions as well. That's not eliminated, by the way. So the golden rule is, again, be competent within yourself, but be compliant to the people above you. That's exactly how you'll be able to sustain the growth of your life. If I'll take an example of a team, initially when people join a team, they listen to what the team leader or someone who is experienced into that particular skill is saying, and they eventually ramp up the skills, ramp up in their career because they were listening to the people who have got higher wisdom or who are highly skillful into that particular thing. But now they think that the people who were above than them are no more relevant to them, and they have surpassed them as well, which might or might not be true. But what one thing that do not need to do is not being compliant to them, being arrogant to the people above than you, having an attitude and carrying yourself with an attitude that I know who I am and what I know, and I am the best into this particular thing. There have been people in this world for, I don't know, many thousands of years who thought the similar way and who at the end of the day got themselves into a mud. So I do not want you to be in the mud as well, as long as you are living this particular life. So the point is, be compliant to whosoever, be compliant to the people who have the control or who can limit the exposure that you can get for your career, and be competent within yourself, and be competent in front of the eyes of the people who look up to you. That's all what you need to do. You do not have to show that competence to the wrong people, right? You do not have to carry an ego or attitude of the competence to the people to whom you have to be compliant, because the people who can make you competent into a particular skill set can make other people competent in that particular skill set as well. It is just a matter of time that how long it takes for them to make other people competent in that particular skill set. And when they are going to make other people competent into that particular skill set, you'll not be able to carry that same attitude or arrogance in front of them. So it's better to be always compliant to the people who can control, who can provide, or who can limit the exposure that you're going to get in your career or in your life.